Hello everyone, it's Gemma here, the Inspired Stamper. Thank you for joining me again today. Today's card is this Teepee card here. Now, normally with a Teepee card, you need to use a magnet or a piece of Velcro tape inside to hold it closed. But this one, if I open it up, you will see that I've added a little tab in on one of the sides. And then I've made a slit across the score line here, and it just tucks in. And it holds itself shut, so it will stand up all by itself. So no extra things needed, no magnets needed, no Velcro tape. So you just unhook it, take the tab out, and then you can fold it flat. So the other thing is it will keep the postage costs down, and also we're not putting magnets in the post and things like that. So that's our card. Now, to make your card, you're going to need 2 pieces of card. I've got some Misty Moonlight card here, which is beautiful blue colour. I've got one piece here which measures 8 inches by 4.5 inches. And then I've got another piece here which is a 4-inch square piece. So we've got both of them. And then I've got 2 pieces of designer series paper that I've cut to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. They're both the same, and we will be cutting those down into triangles, and I will go through that when we get there. This designer series paper comes from the Boho Indigo product medley refill kit. So you get in here lots and lots of DSP and goodies. I just open this up, I'll give you a really quick look at the designer series paper. It's all in the Misty Moonlight and vanilla, I think it is. Very vanilla, or is it white, whisper white? I can't quite tell in this light. I'll have to have a little look, but there'll be all the information will be on my blog anyway. I do think it's vanilla because in the refill kit you also get some die cut tags and flowers, and also some leaves and stuff, and we're going to use some of those to decorate our Teepee card. So let's pop them out the way, and I'm going to move our patterned paper, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard so we can do our bit of scoring. Only a little bit, and it's quite simple. So we're going to take our larger piece first, and with the 8-inch side across the top of our scoreboard, we're going to score this in half at 4 inches. Okay, and then we're going to rotate our cardstock so we've got our shorter edge across the top, and again, to keep it nice and easy, we're going to score again at 4 inches. Okay, so you're going to end up with your 2 score lines in. So you've got one running down the middle, so you've got 2 4-inch squares, and then you've got 2 little rectangles that are 1/2 inch by 4 inches. Okay, now before we are going to put our scoreboard away, I'm just going to come on the right hand, from the right hand side, and we're going to come in 1.5 inches, so that will be at 6.5 inches. And I'm just going to make a mark, just going to score in that top rectangle down to that first score line here. Okay, so we've got a little 1.5 inch section there. That's going to be for our tab, but we don't need to worry about cutting that out just yet. So I'm going to take my scoreboard away, and now I'm going to bring in my ruler. And we need to do some diagonal score lines on our large piece, and also our smaller 4x4 piece as well. But we're going to start by putting in the score lines on our larger piece. So we've got our central score line here, and we're going to make a score line from this corner here down to here. Okay. So we're going from this score line here out to the corner. I'm just going to do exactly the same on this side again. I'm going to go from this middle score line here out to the corner. Okay, so once you're done, you'll have 2 diagonal score lines, and they're going to be pointing upwards. Okay, and then our other piece, our 4x4 piece, doesn't matter which side you do your diagonal score line, but we're going to go from one corner at the top to the opposite corner at the bottom. So I'm just going to get that in line and line that up, and then just score that right down the middle in half. Okay. So I'm going to grab my bone folder, I'm just going to make sure my corners match up nicely. And I'm just going to give that a fold and a burnish with my bone folder. So there's our small piece done. Now for this one, I'm going to fold it in half, fold and burnish. And then before I start folding and burnishing any other lines, actually you're going to bring it into my paper trimmer to cut this, but you can use a pair of scissors if you wish. However, you can pop in your piece of card to the 1/2 inch mark. I'm using the marks on this side here. And then I'm going to take it down to the score line that we put in at 6.5 inches. So I'm going to come all the way down, and then I'm just going to stop where my score line is. So take that out of the way now. As I said, you can use scissors if you wish to. I just find you get a nice neat edge if you use your paper trimmer. And then so we've got our section here, and then we can just snip off where we scored our line. So that bit we can get rid of, we don't need that anymore. Now we can fold over this little tab, give it a fold and burnish as well. Then we can do the same with our diagonal lines. You can give those a fold and burnish as well. There we go. So that is where we are so far. Now what we need to do is make a mark along this line, the score line here, for us to use our craft knife to cut in a little tab. So I've got my pencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my card and I'm going to fold it round to make the teepee shape. And I'm going to leave my tab on the outside. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this in the position it would be closed or opened into, and it's standing up. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to put a pencil mark on this side of the tab and one on that side of the tab. Okay. You can lay that down. You can, hopefully you will be able to see. If I try and bring that up, there's now 2 marks on our card, on our score line. So what you want to do now is take your craft knife. I mean, I've got an older acrylic block here that I do some cutting on because I haven't got my cutting mat out. It's huge and I'll make a lot of noise getting it out. So then I'm just going to take my craft knife and my ruler, and I'm going to cut from this point to this point that we've marked out. Okay, but I'm going to cut right on the score line. I'm going to get that on there as best as I can, and then just use my craft knife and cut the slit along the line there to join up our two marks that we made. Then you can rub them out. Okay, and there we go. We've now got our slit cut for you to pop your tab into. So if we just go back to our tab, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off these little sharp corners just to angle this in so it just tucks in to the slit that we made nice and easy. And then you can test this out by folding it round, and it should pop in straight in. Ooh. And hold itself shut. Okay, now if you're finding that it's not quite fitting in and you've got a bit of a gap, you can take a tiny amount off of this edge here just so it can fold in a little easier. But you'll see mine's okay. That's why I say to go right on top of the score line for your little slit for your tab. Okay, so now we can bring in our square that we've folded in half diagonally, and then we're going to stick this onto the front of our card, and we're going to line up this score line with this central one right in the middle. So you're going to get that shape. Now I'm going to use a bit of wet glue. Remember, you don't want to put it all the way down. The good thing about using wet glue is you get a bit of wiggle time, and then the other thing is you can make sure that you've got it in the right place, and so it's pushed right up, and also you can close your card before it sticks too solidly. So just open it out, fold it down a couple of times just to get it into the right place. There we go. So obviously you're putting your card on top of card, and there's a score line underneath as well. So just to make sure you've got it in the right place. And then we can just give this a fold round, tuck that in, and there is our card base all done. So what we want to do now is decorate it, and as I said, I have got a couple of squares of paper which I can't find now. Oh, there they are, right in front of me. So I've got a couple of squares of paper. Obviously, if you're using a directional pattern, try and be aware that we are going to cut these on the diagonal. So have a little play about with it. But this one isn't particularly directional. It's sort of just a pattern. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch square, and I'm going to cut it in half diagonally from point to point. So I'm just going to line it up in my track. And there we go, we've got 4 squares. Now we're going to need 3 squares to decorate our Teepee card. So you'll see they will go on each of the sections, and we've got these little tiny triangles down here. So to save you cutting any more squares of paper, etc, etc, we're only going to use 3 of the large triangles. So take the 4th one, and we're going to pop it in our trimmer, and we're going to cut down on the corners to make our small triangles. So you want your flat edge like this at the right hand side. I'm going to pop this in, and I am going to come over to 1 1/4 inches, and then I'm going to cut that off, and we've got 1 small triangle. Now I'm going to turn it round. So I've got my corner to the left. And again, I'm going to bring it over to the 1 1/4 inch mark. Chop that one off, and I've got another triangle. Now this last one, what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it around. So I've got my cut off corner facing down, and I've got the point pointing upwards, and I'm going to line that point up in the center on the track, and I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, and then I'm going to take one of these pieces again. Now I've got a corner facing in the right hand side. I'm going to pop this in again, line it up to 1 1/4 inches, cut that off, and I've got my third little triangle. Okay, if you didn't quite understand or follow that one, I will put the measurements for the squares for the small triangles on my blog. Okay, so we're going to only put our 3 large triangles across this side. This one here is the one that we cover up, so we don't need to put any paper on there. So again, I'm going to just pop some glue on and stick these down. Ooh. That's our second one. And our third one. Let's get it around the right way. There we go. Right, so you'll see we've got 2 little triangles here and here. So we can pop this in there. And let's pop the other one on, another one on here. Okay, and then to get the last one in the correct place, I'm going to bring my card round and I'm going to close it. And that will reveal where our third triangle is going to go. And it's going to go just on this little corner here. So let's pop some glue on. And then we can pop that into place, and we know it's in the right corner. Just there. Okay. So then you want to decide which panel you're going to use as the front. So your card, my card is round. So that's going to be my side, and then this panel here is going to be the one that I decorate. So it's this panel here, the second panel, that I'm going to use to pop my embellishments on. I've got a stamp here, congratulations, and this comes from the art gallery set, which is in the mini catalogue. Which one I'm using? Congratulations. It's a nice font. Let's get some Misty Moonlight ink. And then, as I said, I've got some of the elements out of the refill kit, which I got the Design Series paper from. So I'm just going to use one of the little banners. I'm going to do my stamping on here. Hopefully I'm going to get it straight first time. I hope so, because we're stamping straight on. And obviously I don't want to lean too far in. Yep, we're good. So I do like this font. It's nice and plain and bold. It still looks quite nice. There we go. So I'm going to use some of these leaves and flowers. I'm just going to fold these round. There we go. No, that's not going to stick. Let's put it up to decorate it. So there's our card. Right, let's get a couple of leaves. Get some glue going on the ends. Stick them together. This is the bit where I'm going to get all gluey and stuck together. Right, so let's pop a bit of glue on here. Take that one up to here. Oh, see, now it's getting stuck to me, not the card. If you don't want to get in quite such a gluiness, you could use your glue dots. It's probably be a better idea. So I'm sort of just roughly eyeballing where these are going to go, and then I think we'll have one flower flat. Let's pop a bit of glue here. And then we'll add in our sentiment. Let's pop a bit of glue on there as well and pop that one over the top. And then we'll grab, stand that up, we'll pop a dimensional on the back of this flower. Also give it a bit of shape while we're here. Since this one's going to have a bit of dimension, but it's going to be a bit higher. Let's take the back off of there. And then we can just pop on. Wiggle that down, there we go, and we'll just pop on our other flower on there. So that is my Teepee card. It holds itself closed. So I hope you have enjoyed that tutorial. As always, all the information will be on my blog, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below. A list of supplies will be listed below as well, so you can click on those and check them out in my shop for yourself. And until next time, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!